Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 4th of September 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover those articles that are important for the UPSC prelims and mains exam. So these are the list of articles that we are going to cover in today's discussion. So in all, we are going to cover about 10 important topics, right? So this is the first topic. This topic is very much important for the UPSC mains exam. So let us understand about this topic, okay? So it says status of the Right to Information Act. So through this topic, we are going to understand about the Right to Information Act. We are going to learn about various nuances associated with the Right to Information Act, right? So let us start understanding this particular topic. So name of the topic is, it says the status of the Right to Information Act. So in this article, we are going to understand about various things, right? So first of all, we will understand about what is, right? What is the Right to Information Act, okay? What is RTI Act 2005? So when we talk about the Right to Information Act, so this is a public disclosure act of the government of India. So this act has been enacted for the for providing information to the public. Whenever the public, right, at large, means like, the citizens of India, if they need any information from the government in terms of data, in terms of documents, in terms of other official documents that are held by government officials, so they can file a RTI application, okay? So like, the citizens, this particular act actually empowers the citizens of India. So what they can do, they can file, okay, they can file an RTI application, okay, they can file an RTI application to get information under the Right to Information Act. This act has been enacted in 2005, right? However, this act has gone through so many amendments also. And before that, right, this particular RTI Act is considered to be the one of the best public disclosure acts, let's say, globally. It is recognized one of the best acts so far globally. However, recently there has been a tendency, okay, there has been a tendency by the government, okay, to dilute the provisions of this particular act, okay, to dilute the provisions of this particular act. What do we mean by diluting the provisions of the act? Diluting the provision means like, making this act less effective, okay? How the government is doing, how they can do it, by doing modification, by doing amendments into the act, either directly into the act or through some other legislations, okay, or through some other legislation. So there has been an amendment, okay, there has been an amendment to this particular act, right, in the year of 2019 by the government. And in the year of 2019, what they have done, this particular, like, let's say, amendment to the RTI Act in 2019 has allowed the central government, or it has allowed the union government, right, the union government to decide the tenure, okay, to decide the tenure and service conditions of the Chief Information Commissioner, okay, CIC means Chief Information Commissioner, and other information commissioners, okay, ICs. CIC means Chief Information Commissioner and other information commissioner. Earlier they used to have a tenure of 5 years. Now it has been reduced to 3 years, okay, means like, they have, let's say, reduced their term of service. So this is one of the way that, like, the government of India or the government is, let's say, diluting the provision or like making it less effective. This was one of the way. Apart from this, there is another way, okay? So what is the next way to do it? By not appointing, okay, by not appointing information commissioners in various states. Let's say like, like this is there in the central level, this is there in the state level also. If in the state level they do not appoint information commissioners, so like who is going to give information to the consumers, means like who is going to hear the appeals, or who is going to, let's say like, look into the grievances of the citizens of India. So the thing is like, by not appointing information commissioners, this act is being somehow, let's say like being made less effective, and also through different amendments. And recently what has happened, recently the government of India has enacted, right, government of India has enacted another thing which is known as DPDP Act, okay, DPDP. So what is DPDP? DPDP is known as Digital Personal Data Protection Act, okay, Digital Personal Data Protection Act, okay, Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023. So this particular act, okay, Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023. So this act also dilutes the provision of the RTI Act. How it dilutes the provisions of the RTI Act, we are going to understand about that now, okay. So basically the previous Right to Information Act, the RTI Act in its let's say original format, okay, RTI Act 2005 in its original format does have some exceptions, okay, it has some exceptions, means like for example, if a citizen asks some information from a public information official, that public information official can take the help of these exemptions that are placed there in the act to deny giving information to the people. And what are those exemptions? One of the exemptions says sovereignty, right, for protecting the sovereignty, and security of the state. This was one of the thing. And also there was limited thing related to personal information, means like, so whenever personal information of the citizens was to be disclosed, so in that case, like, they could deny, but in a limited sense. But this particular Digital Personal Data Protection Act, what it has done, it has let's say like, included like, the exemptions, it has broadened the scope of exemptions, okay, it has broadened the scope of exemptions under the RTI Act. So this way it is being diluted. So here, like, the author is saying that people at large in India, the citizens, are getting more disaffected, means like more they are more let's say like, displeased, or they are not happy with the RTI Act, the way that they used to be earlier. Why? Because for example, if a citizen, let's say like, if a citizen wants to make an RTI application, so while making the RTI application, right, what he has to do, he has to, let's say, either go for offline, right, means like he can file an offline RTI application, right, or he can file an online RTI application. For filing an offline RTI application, he has to pay fees, right, he need to pay fees. However, the way in which fee is being accepted, so that is not uniform across India, means like, there are, let's say, this postal, these are known as PIOs, means like, postal, Indian postal orders, okay, these are known as Indian postal orders, IPOs, okay, IPOs means Indian postal order, Indian postal order. So these Indian postal orders are not accepted in all states. Apart from this, like, there are provisions of making the payment through demand draft, but like making a demand draft is itself very hectic. A person has to go to banks multiple times. Then other provisions are there that, like, you can get a notary, okay, you can get a notary made, but like, bank notary, I mean like, the kind of stamp paper, but for a court premises, okay, he has to go to a court premises, like that, only then it is being done. So offline there are problems, right, means like, these ways are very difficult. And if I talk about filing an online RTI, many states do not have it, okay, many states do not have online portal. Okay, many states do not have online portal. Okay, do not have online portal. So this is another issue, that many states do not maintain an online portal. And also recently it has been noticed that, like, from many it has been noticed that, like, from the central government website also, right, from the central government website also, datas are deleted. Okay, datas are, let's say, deleted from time to time. Data is deleted, right? And recently there was a case that the Hindu newspaper has reported some deletion of data, and after some time those data have been restored by the government. So data deletion is another issue. So the thing is, the author is saying that, like, there are many issues that are existing with reference to the RTI Act. Okay, so, like, what next? Now the question is, what can be done now? Okay, what next? So now we need to focus on strengthening the RTI application. For strengthening the RTI application, this online portal has to be made by all these states. Okay, so all these states should have an online portal where it is easy, right? It is easy to file an application. Okay, it should be easy to file an application. And in many portal, right, earlier there was a government portal. In that portal, once you file an application, if you want to file the application once again, you will get automatically filled information there. Okay, your information is automatically filled. However, that thing has been removed from the website of the government, and also they have made it little difficult to file the applications. Okay, so online portal should be made easy, right? And apart from this, in case of offline, right, there should be other provisions of payment for RTI application. Okay, there should be, let's say, easier ways of making payments. And also this particular act, RTI Act, should be, let's say, enforced or implemented, right? It should be implemented in letter and spirit. Okay, it should be implemented in letter and spirit. Okay, only then it will be a good, let's say, like, good RTI Act. So this is the thing. So with this, let us move to the next topic quickly. Now this topic says measuring hunger across states. Okay, this topic says measuring hunger across states. So in this article, we are going to understand about the global hunger state. We are going to understand about state hunger index. We will understand about the National Family Health Survey related thing. We will also talk about, let's say, the national role of the National Sample Survey. Okay, in these cases. Okay, so let us quickly understand. So name of this particular topic, name of the second topic is, name of this particular topic is measuring hunger across states. Okay, measuring hunger across states. Now, what is the context of this particular topic? Why this particular topic came? Because recently the Global Hunger Index was published. Okay, Global Hunger Index was published. Okay, Global Hunger Index was published. So this Global Hunger Index that was published, in this particular report, they have around 119 countries. Okay, and out of them, India has stood, right? India's position was around 107 out of 119 countries. And this talks about that India is lagging behind. Okay, India is lagging behind many African countries. Okay, many African countries. It is even lagging behind Pakistan, Bangladesh, like, these states also. So it says that this particular Global Hunger Index has ranked India 107 among 121 countries. Okay, 121 countries are there. So out of them, India was ranked at 107. what it showcases that India is not performing well in the global hunger index. India's ranking has consistently declined, and it showcases that India has a huge population, huge number of people who are, let's say, who fall under hunger category. I mean, they are either malnourished or undernourished, or let's say there is child wasting, child stunting and all. So we are going to understand about what are the indicators, of global hunger index. Okay, we are going to talk about the indicators of global hunger index. Okay, we are going to talk about the indicators. One of the indicator talks about, let's say, child mortality. Okay, it talks about child mortality. Child mortality means children below the age of 5 years. Okay, below 5 years of age means how many children die out of 1 lakh children, like that. Okay, so one of the indexes is child mortality. Other index is child stunting. Then there is other child wasting. Okay, child wasting, right? So there are 4 parameters on all in all. One of the parameters says this particular thing, the prevalence of so one of the things says child wasting, child stunting. Okay, these are the things. Now let us quickly see this image also I have included. So let us go through this image once. So this global hunger index, right, one of the criteria is child mortality, under 5 child mortality rate. Okay, and death rate is most serious consequence of hunger, and children are the most vulnerable. Okay, so second criteria is stunting, third is wasting. Okay, then fourth is undernourishment. Okay, fourth is undernourishment. Okay, so child stunting is there, child wasting is there, then other is undernourishment. Okay, so we are going to understand undernourishment, right? So what do we mean by child stunting? Let us understand the meaning of stunting first. Okay, meaning of stunting. Meaning of stunting means, let's say, with age, right, as the child grows, it is expected that the height of the child will also grow. Okay, means as the child ages, with age, right, height should grow. Okay, height should grow in general. Okay, height should grow. However, what happens, a child who is stunted, so his age will go up, his age generally goes up. Okay, his age increases, but height does not increase much. Okay, height does not increase. Okay, height does not increase much. Means, let's say a child having an age of 5 years, okay, having an age of 5 years, he is this much high. Okay, his height is this much. When he becomes 15 years, his height should grow. His height should grow. However, what happens if his height is not growing? Okay, if his height is not growing as compared to his age, that is known as stunting. Okay, it is known as stunting. So in India, we have huge prevalence of those children who are stunted. And more than stunting, there is another issue. There is another issue, which is known as child wasting. Okay, it is known as wasting. So what do we mean by wasting? Stunting we have understood. Let us understand about wasting. Wasting means with height, right, the body mass index is not matching up. Means, let's say the child has height, but he do not have body weight. Okay, he do not have body weight, proper body weight, means very thin. Okay, you might have seen photograph of children who are undernourished to be very thin. Okay, so that is known as wasting. Means their body mass index is not normal. It is, let's say, less than normal. Okay, it is less than normal. So that is, this is the meaning of wasting. Okay, So there is prevalence of child stunting, child wasting, okay, and undernourishment also. Undernourishment, how it happens? Like because of undernourishment, child stunting is seen. Because of undernourishment, child wasting is seen. Child mortality is also associated with undernourishment. And also undernourishment does not mean that like the child does not get food. It also means that the child is not getting sufficient variety of foods. He is not getting different varieties of foods. Yes, good evening everyone who have joined. Okay, so undernourishment means there can be a child who is fat, okay, so much fat, but because like he did not get proper nutrition, his body is not healthy. That will be also considered to be part of undernourishment. Okay, that will also be considered to be part of undernourishment. So this is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing here, like we have mentioned, we have given some of the data related to it. Okay, global hunger index, this is the thing. Okay, so out of, let's say, out of 121 countries, we have been ranked, okay, as per the Hindu news report, we have been ranked as 107, okay, and we are lagging behind, okay, we are lagging behind many countries across the world, okay, we are lagging behind even African countries. So that's the thing. So in this article, they have not only discussed about global hunger index, they have also talked about another index which is known as state hunger index. Okay, they have talked about another index which is known as state hunger index. In this article, they have not mentioned about which organization releases the state hunger index, but they have talked about why there is a necessity of having a state hunger index. Okay, why state hunger index is important. So why it is important? Because it will give localized data. Okay, it will give localized data, means like we will be able to know regionally inside India that in which state we have more hungry children, we have more hungry people as compared to other states. So like this gives data related to various states and union territories. Okay, so like we will be getting localized data from various states and union territories, and this will also help the government to formulate proper policy. Okay, so it will help government in making policy, okay, policy making thing. So this is the thing. So in this article, they have talked about that this state hunger index, right? In short, it can be written as SHI. This state hunger index is a replica. Okay, this state hunger index is a replica of the global hunger index. Okay, it is a replica of global hunger index. It also has 4 indicators. Okay, it also has 4 indicators. However, out of those 4 indicators, they have taken 3 indicators as it is. Okay, they have taken 3 indicators as it is. For example, one of the indicator was child mortality, right? So they have taken child mortality as it is. Okay. Second thing is child stunting. They have taken stunting also as it is. Third one is, let's say, wasting. Okay, child wasting. So they have taken child wasting also as it is. However, the 4th parameter has been changed. Earlier, the 4th parameter used to be undernourishment. Okay, it used to be undernourishment. Okay, let's say undernourishment. It has been replaced by body mass index. It has been replaced by BMI. So the thing is, the state hunger index is calculated using the same indicators except calorie nourishment, which is replaced by body mass index. Okay, undernourishment. So earlier it was, let's say, calorie thing. Now it has been replaced with body mass index. Means in the state hunger index, in the SHI, there will be these parameters: child mortality, stunting, wasting, and for calculating the undernourishment, they will be using body mass index instead of this thing, calorie based this particular thing. Okay, so they are using this particular thing in the state hunger index. So they say that state hunger index has been calculated, right? This SHI has been calculated using the data that was released by National Family Health Survey. Okay, National Family Health Survey 5. So the 5th edition of the data of the National Family Health Survey was used for calculating the state hunger index. Okay, that has been used. And also the government of India conducts various surveys that are part of National Sample Survey, okay, that are part of National Sample Survey, okay, that are part of National Sample Survey, NSS. So these data are also utilized, okay, these data are also utilized for calculating the state hunger index. So like in this article what they have done, they have simply let's say compared the global hunger index and state hunger index, and they have said that state hunger index is very important. Why? Because it says that an India specific hunger index at the level of states and union territories, right, helps evaluate the extent of undernourishment at a more localized scale, okay. It helps us to understand about undernourishment at a more localized scale. That's the thing. So with this, we will move to the next topic, and before that we have a question for you. It says, which of the following component is not an indicator, okay, not an indicator of the global hunger index? So we have seen child mortality is there, undernourishment is there, child stunting is there, but this anemia is not there, right? It is not an indicator of the global hunger index. So correct answer for this question will be option D. Anemia is not there, okay. Correct answer would be option D. All other three are part of it. Along with this, like, you know, child wasting is also a part of it, okay, global hunger index, right? That's the thing. So with this, we will quickly move to the next topic. Now we have another topic. It says court's order on the ASI survey are flawed, okay. So this article gives a comment, okay, this article gives a comment that on the court's order related to Gyan Vapi Mosque. So like this topic is very important for us to understand, because this is not only a political article, this also talks about the judiciary, how judiciary has interpreted one of the existing laws, which is known as the this is Places of Worship Special Provisions Act 1991, okay. So let's understand about this topic. This topic is very, very important, because like through this article you are going to understand a new perspective on various things, okay. Court's order and the ASI survey are flawed. Name of the topic is court's order and the ASI survey, okay, and the ASI survey are flawed. So let's talk about this particular topic. So this topic has been written with reference to this particular act. So we need to understand about this act, which is known as Places of Worship, okay, Places of Worship Special, okay, Special Provisions Act 1991. Special Provisions Act 1991. So what is this act all about? So this act is already in place. This act came into being in 1991, in the year of 1991. So this act says, that, like, you know, those places that are places of worship, they may be temples, right? They may be temples, they may be mosques, they may be, let's say, churches, okay, they may be gurdwaras, etc., by whatever name we call them, okay. So this particular act actually talks about protection of the places of worship, because, like, you know, there is a fundamental right, there are fundamental right that protects your right of religion, okay, right of religion. So can anyone tell me, like, which articles talk about protection of right to religion? Article 25 to 28 of the Constitution of India protects, right to religion, okay. 29 and 30 cultural and educational rights of minorities and all. So this Places of Worship Act has been made so that the so that the religious right of the people can be protected. However, recently the Supreme Court of India, okay, the Supreme Court of India has interpreted, okay, it has interpreted this particular act, which is Places of Worship Act, and they have interpreted this act in such a manner, right? So in which case they have they have, let's say, interpreted this act in Ram Janmabhoomi temple case, okay, in Ram Janmabhoomi, okay, temple case. So in that particular case, the Supreme Court of India has, let's say, interpreted this act, and the Supreme Court of India has said that all those places of worship that have been in existence since 1947, okay, since, let's say, 15th August 1947, since 15th August 1947, all those places that are places of worship and have been in existence since 1947, these places of worship will not be modified. Means they will not be converted from, let's say, places of worship of one religion to places of worship to another religion, or within one religion also they will not be converted for the place of worship from one particular section to another section. They say, like, they will be protected. This particular, let's say, like, these places of worship, let's say earlier there was a temple, and so instead of this temple we cannot build a mosque or we cannot build a church. So, like, we cannot build anything of let's say like of other religion at that places of worship. And also the nature of the worship, I mean, like, nature of the place of worship will also not be modified. Means, like, this particular act actually protects, right, protects the religious places and its nature of worship that happens over there, okay. So it protects them. However, they have, let's say, like, talked about everything. They have talked about protecting the let's say places of worship. However, they have taken just one exception. The Supreme Court of India said, like, there is just one exception to this, and that exception is the Ram Janmabhoomi temple case, okay. In case of Ram Janmabhoomi, so they have given a different verdict. However, overall opinion of the Supreme Court of India was for the protection of the places of worship. So this article has also mentioned that all those places that are, let's say, like, that are, let's say, earlier mosque or temple, so they will not be changed, like, if they have been in existence since 1947. But recently what has happened in the Gyan Vapi mosque case, okay, so people have filed cases that, like, Gyan Vapi mosque is located in Lucknow, right? So they said that, like, there was a temple inside it. So people have, let's say, asked for survey by the Archaeological Survey of India. So one of the court, let's say District and Sessions Court, they have granted this particular survey a go ahead, and then Allahabad High Court has also given a go ahead, and recently the Supreme Court of India has also given a go ahead that, like, you go ahead and do the survey. So Archaeological Survey of India has been given this particular authority. However, the writer of this particular article says that since the Supreme Court of India in the Ram Janmabhoomi temple case has already interpreted, they have already interpreted that, like, the places of worship cannot be modified for any other purpose. And this particular temple, which is, let's say, like, Gyan Vapi mosque, it has been in existence for many centuries there, okay, it has been in existence. So there is no doubt about it that was not a mosque. So they say this particular thing is flawed. And why the author says that it is more flawed? Because in the Ram Janmabhoomi temple case also that the Supreme Court of India has heard, there at that point of time the Chief Justice of India was Justice Ranjan Gogoi, and along with him there was, let's say, like, D.Y. Chandrachud, okay, D.Y. Chandrachud was also a member of this particular judgment. He was also a judge in that particular thing. Now, being a judge, he has himself, let's say, heard different petitioners, and they have taken a decision how they can allow the survey to happen in this particular thing. So this is the thing, and this article has been written by one of the advocate of the Supreme Court of India, okay. So finally, the author says that the Supreme Court of India's order in the Gyan Vapi mosque case raises serious questions about its legality, propriety and justness, okay. So here they say that the Supreme Court of India's order in the Gyan Vapi mosque case raises serious questions about its legality, propriety and justness, because in this particular case, like, in the places of worship special act, so the Supreme Court of India has interpreted that whatever interpretation it has made in this particular case, this interpretation will be followed by all the courts of India, be it at district level or at high courts or even the Supreme Court. They are going to follow it, and whatever decision we are taking now, so this decision will be for the future as well. Okay, this decision will be for the future as well. So now Chirag has asked why Ram Janmabhoomi case was exempted from section 3 of this act. What's the explanation provided by the Supreme Court? Okay, so in that case, like, we need to go back to the judgment of the Ram Janmabhoomi case, and we need to understand why they have been taken an exception. So they have taken an exception by saying, right, one of the thing is by saying that, like, there is popular willingness, there is, let's say, like, popular willingness to do it. So that's why they have done it. I mean, like, in that case, the court has, let's say, understood this particular provision. So we need to go back to this. Okay, so there are certain sections like section 3 and section 4 of this particular act. Section 3 says, section 3 enacts a bar on the conversion of a place of worship of any religious denomination or a section of it into a place of worship of a different religious denomination or of a different segment of the same religious denomination. Okay, section 3 protects it. Whatever I have explained, that was part of section 3. And section 4 preserves the religious character of the place of worship as it existed on 15th August 1947. Okay, so they have interpreted it in that manner. So with this, let us now move to the next topic. Okay, we need to check the judgment once again. We need to read it so that, like, we can understand a little more on the Ram Janmabhoomi case. Okay, now this is another topic. This topic is also important. This topic says Aditya L1 healthy in new orbit. It has been said by ISRO. So Aditya L1 is a solar observatory mission. Okay, so solar observatory mission, I'm going to explain it quickly. So name of the topic is Aditya L1 healthy in the new orbit. I'm just writing Aditya L1 for our understanding. So what is Aditya L1? This Aditya L1 is a solar observatory. Okay, it is solar observatory mission of ISRO. Okay, it is solar observatory mission of Indian Space Research Organization, and this is the first solar observatory mission of India. Okay, this is the first solar observatory mission of India. So what do we want to do through Aditya L1? So the Aditya L1 spacecraft that we have launched, right? Through this Aditya L1, we want to study the sun. We want to study the properties of the, let's say, rays that are emitted by sun. We want to learn about them. And as part of this Aditya L1 mission, we have sent 7 payloads. Okay, there are 7 payloads inside the Aditya L1. Payloads are instruments. Okay, payloads are instruments that we have sent, right? They are instruments that we have sent along with this Aditya L1. So 4 of these instruments, okay, 4 of these instruments are going to, let's say, like, do remote sensing. Okay, they are going to do remote sensing activities, and 3 of these instruments are going to conduct in situ, right? They are going to do in situ analysis or experiment, right, in this space. So this Aditya L1, right, this Aditya L1 we are sending, like, ISRO has also already launched it on 2nd of September, right? 2nd of September they have launched it at 11:50 AM. So far the mission is successful, and so, like, ISRO, what it has done, let's say, like, this is Earth. ISRO has launched Aditya L1. It has reached an orbit over here. Let's say this is Aditya L1. It has reached an orbit. Now they are doing orbit, let's say, raising maneuver. Okay, orbit raising maneuver means, so let me draw this once again. This is Earth. So we have sent it here, okay, which is Aditya L1. we are doing orbit raising maneuver. Okay, means like we are raising its orbit so that slowly and gradually it let's say acquires an orbit like this. Okay, so basically, like, you know, we want to send this Aditya L1 to L1 point. Okay, there is a point which is known as L1, and let's say there is sun. This is sun. This L1 point is known as Lagrange point. What? It is Lagrange point. So at Lagrange point, whatever spacecraft we send, it is going to experience zero or no gravity. Means this point will be at a stable equilibrium. Okay, this will be at stable equilibrium. Okay, this point will be at stable equilibrium. It will not experience any gravity from sun or from earth, because they are going to cancel out one another. This is the significance of Lagrange points. Okay, this is the significance of Lagrange points. Okay, Lagrange points. So we are going to send it at Lagrange point 1, okay, which is known as L1. So we are sending it here. So between earth and sun, we generally have 5, let's say, Lagrange points. L1 point lies here between earth and sun. L2 point lies opposite to the earth. L3 point lies to the opposite side of the sun. L4 point lies here, and L5 point lies here. Okay, so these are the Lagrange points that lie between two bodies. So we are sending it over here because between this Aditya L1 and sun there will be no object, so it is not going to experience any kind of eclipse. Okay, no eclipse. It's not going to experience any eclipse also. So that will be one of the usage of this particular thing. Okay, so Aditya L1, and how far is this distance? This distance is 1.5 million kilometer. 1.5 million kilometer means 15 lakh kilometer. Okay, 15 lakh kilometer from the surface of the earth. And at, like, what is the percentage of total distance from earth to sun? Let's say from earth to sun it is 100%, and it is going to reach just 1%. Okay, so it will be 1% of the distance from sun. Okay, means like, you know, from earth it is going to cover just 1% and 99% away from the sun. That's the thing. Okay, this is the significance of this particular point, Aditya L1. So far they have said that Aditya L1 is healthy in the new orbit. It has been said by ISRO. Okay, so like they are going to do 5 such maneuvers over a period of 16 days from now. Okay, and after then it is going to conduct, right, let's say, like, you know, L1 insertion thing. They are going to do L1 insertion orbit maneuvering. So again they have written another article on the same topic. Okay, so they say onward, sunward. Aditya L1 gives India's space program one more boundary to push. So this Aditya L1 has been launched by ISRO just 1 week after soft landing the Chandrayaan 3 on the south pole of the moon, and India became the first country to have landed on the south pole of the moon. Although India was the 4th country to have landed on moon, but on south pole we became the first country, and that was a feat to achieve. And like, you know, there the lander has performed its work. The rover has also performed its work. Today we are going to discuss another article where we are going to discuss about the functioning of the rover also. So in this article they have mentioned about the Aditya L1 mission. So far whatever I have explained, so that's part of this article as well. So with this, like, we are going to solve a question, and this question is little more technical than whatever is mentioned in the article. So we are going to understand about this topic. So it says, with reference to the sun, consider the following statements. First, nuclear fission takes place at the core of the sun. Okay, nuclear fission. So now we need to understand there are 2 types of nuclear reactions. Okay, there are 2 types of nuclear reactions that happens, right? One of the type is known as nuclear fusion reaction. Okay, nuclear fusion reaction. Second is known as nuclear fission reaction. Okay, nuclear fission reaction. Nuclear fusion reaction happens when 2 smaller nuclei, okay, 2 smaller nuclei, they add to make a big nuclei. Okay, nuclear fusion reaction happens, let's say hydrogen and hydrogen add to become helium, like that. Okay, so this nuclear fusion reaction requires a lot of energy to happen. It only happens naturally on the surface of the sun, okay, it only happens naturally on sun. So that's the thing. So nuclear fusion reaction happens at the core of the sun, okay, nuclear fusion reaction happens. Nuclear fission reaction does not happen. Here in this article they have mentioned nuclear fission, but we need to understand what do we mean by nuclear fission. In case of nuclear fission, what happens, a big atom, okay, so I have just drawn a ball like structure to showcase that this is an atom. A big atom, what happens, like if we give some energy to it, it splits into, let's say, smaller atoms. It splits into smaller atoms and also gives various byproducts, okay. This is known as nuclear fission. In case of fission, big atom, let's say, like, you know, because of radioactivity, it splits, right, it splits. In nuclear fission, small atoms come together to form a bigger atom, like that, okay. So this is the thing. So nuclear fission does not happen. Now second article, it says photosphere of the sun is relatively hot and has temperature of about 9,500 kilometer. This statement is wrong. Photosphere is means, like, you know, above the surface of the sun, it is much above. So there it is relatively cold, okay. Photosphere is relatively cold as compared to the core of the sun, and here we find a temperature of about 5,500 degree centigrade, okay. So second statement is also wrong. Third statement, it says solar events like coronal mass ejection affect the nature of the magnetic field of the planet. This is right. Of the planet means we are talking about Earth, okay. So coronal mass ejection, it affects the magnetic field of the Earth, and it affects magnetic field of many other planets also. That's the thing. So how many of the above statements are right? Only one of the above statement is right, which is option A, okay. Option A is right. So with this, let us move to the next topic now. So you can go through the explanation in your free time, right? We have included the explanation. So let us understand about this topic quickly. It says the northern plains of India is the most polluted region, okay, northern plain of India. So basically recently, I mean, like, you know, they have launched an index which is known as Air Quality Life Index, okay. What is the name of the index? Name of the index is Air Quality Life Index. So this Air Quality Life Index has been released, right, has been recently released. So this data of 2021 shows, right, shows that failure to meet the WHO guidelines on this particular thing, reducing PM 2.5. In this article they have talked about particulate matter 2.5. So it's a kind of, let's say, pollutant which is there in the air, okay. So they talk about that, like, you know, according to this particular index, this pollutant level is very high and it has not been, let's say, addressed adequately, right, it has not been addressed. So now they have given certain charts, okay. These charts are important. Chart 1 shows that annual PM 2.5 concentration in the top 5 most polluted countries and other selected thing, okay. So among them, India is one of the most polluted country, okay. The topmost polluted country is Bangladesh, right. India also lies among the topmost countries. Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, India, China. So these are most polluted countries. And also in India, if we talk about India, so chart 3 is important to understand about the pollution level of air, right, in India. So here, you know, Delhi tops, then Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Bihar, like, you know, they have mentioned about, let's say, different states in India. So here, like, there is a loss of 11.9 years from the life of a person in Delhi because of air pollution. And also if I talk about chart 2, it talks about top 5 threats to life expectancy, okay. So they have mentioned cardiovascular diseases, high systolic blood pressure, tobacco, child and maternal like, you know, malnutrition, PM 2.5 related to the world guidelines. So if we talk about top 5 threats to life, so the topmost threat to life is PM 2.5 level. I mean, like, it is more like, you know, it has more threat as compared to cardiovascular diseases like heart attack and all. Means, like, more people are being affected because of the presence of PM 2.5 in the environment. Then chart 4, they have talked about, the chart shows annual average 2.5 concentration in India, the northern plains and all other region. So the northern plains in India has the highest concentration of 2.5 particulate matter, 2.5 in the atmosphere. Okay, so this is important. Okay, so you just need to understand this thing. So with this, like, we came to another topic. This topic is important. This topic says centers DIKSHA e-education platform to offer AI help. Okay, so now in this article they have talked about educational platform DIKSHA. What is the full form of DIKSHA? DIKSHA stands for Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing. Okay, DIKSHA full form is Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing Platform, and this particular platform is about to adopt, like, personalized adaptive learning. It's going to adopt personalized adaptive learning. It means, let's say you are a student, you are reading NCERT book online, and then if you don't understand a particular concept, it's going to showcase a relevant video or relevant content so that, like, you can understand that concept. It's going to be personalized for each user. Okay, and for that, like, it is going to use artificial intelligence. And so far, governments have not implemented, the central government has not implemented, let's say, like, personalized adaptive learning. State governments have not implemented. However, there are private players who have implemented this particular thing in private, let's say, edtech companies, educational companies, and they have also implemented in government platforms. For example, let's say in the state of Assam, they have implemented this thing for, let's say, class 6 to 10, and in other states, in Haryana also they have implemented. However, the government was incurring a huge amount of, let's say, financial burden because of this particular thing. Okay, so there was huge financial burden because of, let's say, if a student watches a video, so there are data, let's say, like, data sharing charges, okay, data transfer charges that happens. So a lot of kind of charges. So that's why these states have initially adopted, but they have discontinued this particular thing. However, the government of India is thinking of implementing this thing, let's say, nationwide for NCERT books. Okay, so this is the thing that they have mentioned, and they said that it is going to assist, it is going to help the students, right? It is going to help the student in learning, in building their learning capacity. Okay, so they have, let's say, mentioned so many things related to it, but we just needed to understand about this thing. Okay, now we have another topic. This topic is again important. It says, what is the debate around one nation, one election? So we will understand this topic quickly. Name of the topic is what is the debate around one nation, one election. So let's understand about this topic, one nation, one election. What do we mean by this? One nation, by the term one nation, one election means we want to conduct Lok Sabha election, we can want to conduct state legislative assembly elections, right? And we also want to conduct local elections, like local elections at the same time. We want to conduct them at the same time. As of now, what is happening? Lok Sabha elections are conducted at a different date, state legislative elections are conducted at a different date, and then local elections are conducted at a different date. So elections keep on happening around the year at different places of the country. Okay, they keep on happening. And the present government is saying that since the election keep on happening at different places around the country, what it leads to do? It basically, I mean, like, has huge expenditure. Okay, it leads to huge expenditure. It leads to huge expenditure. And also deployment of security personals. Okay, deployment of security personals. Deployment of security personals, etc. So to avoid huge expenditure and deployment, the government of India wants to implement one nation, one election. However, is it that easy to, let's say, like, convert the mode of election to one nation, one election? And so we will understand about that factor. Before this, let us also understand that, like, when India became independent, after then the first election that was conducted in India, 1951, at that point of time, the election was conducted, like a single election was conducted. Okay, single election means the election in the form of one nation, one election was conducted, and so it has been conducted since 1951 to 1967. Means till that time it has been conducted in this mode itself, one nation, one election mode. However, after then it has been discontinued because of many reasons. One of the reason for discontinuation was that the Kerala State Legislative Assembly, okay, Kerala State Legislative Assembly was dissolved. And since the Kerala State Legislative Assembly was dissolved, okay, so there has to be a by-poll, there has to be another election for the Kerala state. So after that, many times, I mean, we have conducted elections, and slowly and gradually the elections, like we started conducting the Lok Sabha elections differently, state legislative elections differently. But if we want to move to one nation, one election concept, let's say, like if you want to conduct all the elections simultaneously, do we have any hurdles? Like what are the difficulties for that, and why it is not feasible? So let us understand about that factor also. One of the thing is, let's consider, right, one of the thing is that the Election Commission of India, okay, ECI, so they will face lot of problems, okay, they will face lot of problems for it. They will face lot of problems, means they do not have adequate infrastructure, they do not have adequate number of let's say people who can be stationed at different places across the country at the same time to conduct the election. Okay, so like they have, let's say, like human resource issue, they have the issue related to, let's say, logistics, and they have administrative problems also. Okay, they have administrative problems as well related to this. The second issue is related to, let's consider now we are conducting one nation, one election format. At the same time, Lok Sabha election, state legislative election, etc. happens. Second problem will be like, if in case, let's say in one of the state, let's say like, the state legislative assembly is dissolved. If it is dissolved, what will happen? They will have to conduct election again, or they have to wait for 5 years. Until then, the president's rule will be applied in that state. So that needs constitutional amendment. Okay, so that needs constitutional amendment. So there are many constitutional amendments that are needed at various places. Okay, amendments are needed. Even it will require Representation of People's Act, RPA. Okay, Representation of People's Act 1951 to be amended. That will also need amendment. And there are other problems as well. There are other problems. Okay, there are, let's say, like if that amendment has to be done, they need ratification. Okay, they need ratification by greater than or equal to 50% of the states also. So the present government would be needing that thing as well. So a lot of problems are there with respect to this. Why this topic has come? Because on September 1, the central government set up a panel headed by former President Ram Nath Kovind to explore the feasibility of one nation, one election plan. Okay, so the central government has appointed a committee headed by Ram Nath Kovind. So he was the former President of India. Okay, so he is the former President of India. So this article is also related to this topic. It says, so like Vashu Singh has joined. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. It says Law Ministry officials brief Kovind on simultaneous polls. Okay, so like officials from the Ministry of Law and Justice, they have, let's say, they have reached to Mr. Ramnath Kovind, and they have explained about, let's say, like, one nation, one election related thing. Okay, so with this, like, let us solve this question quickly. It says, consider the following pairs. Justice Mittal Committee for the Rehabilitation of Ethnic unrest victims in Manipur. Second, Justice Rohini Committee, one nation, one election. No, this is right. Lokur Committee, to look into the criteria for defining scheduled tribes. So first and third are right. It means only two will be the right answer. And in this, let's say like here, they have talked about a committee also. Okay, so earlier there was a committee that was, let's say like, set up. Okay, earlier there was a committee that was set up, and name of that committee is known as this, here in this article they have mentioned. Okay, earlier they have set up a committee related to this, and that committee has given, let's say, an opinion against having one nation, one election format. Okay, so this is the thing. Correct answer would be option B. Okay, you can go through the explanation in your free time. So with this, let us understand another topic. This is quick, short topic. It says Assam government forms panel to draft anti-polygamy law. What do we mean by polygamy? Okay, polygamy means one man marries more than one woman. Okay, marries more than one woman. Okay, that is polygamy. Okay, when one man marries more than one woman, that is polygamy. Then there is an opposite term also, which is known as polyandry. Okay, polyandry, like that. Here in case of polyandry, one woman marries, okay, marries more than one man. That's the thing, polyandry. So polyandry is not practiced. I mean, so it is there in certain communities, right? However, this polygamy is prevalent in certain communities in the state of Assam. So the thing is, like, the Assam chief minister, he has said that, like, so they have set up a panel which is going to draft a legislation related to like polygamy, ending polygamy. So for this, what they have done is, like, they have taken prior approval from one of the retired judge. Okay, so one high court judge, Guwahati High Court judge, Justice Rumi Fukan. Okay, so this justice has said that the state government is, let's say, competent to formulate a law related to polygamy, anti-polygamy thing. Okay, so that's the thing. So this is all from my side. One woman marries more than one man. That is polyandry. Polygamy means one man marries more than one woman. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for joining today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. So if you have more questions, you can ask it in the comment section. I'm going to respond there also. And like tomorrow, when we discuss, we are going to cover that thing. What exactly do we mean by orbit raising maneuver? Okay, so there is a question. So I'm going to address this question quickly. So someone has asked, what do we mean by orbit raising maneuver? Okay, so for this, let me give you example. So like I will give you example with reference to the Chandrayaan mission. Okay, so let's say this is Earth and this is Moon. Okay, this is Moon. So we wanted to send Chandrayaan 3, right, to the Moon. So initially when we launched the rocket, so that Chandrayaan comes over here and it starts, let's say, revolving around Earth. Okay, it starts revolving. However, what we do, like, we change the direction of the rocket. We change the direction of the rocket in such a manner so that, like, it acquires another orbit. So earlier, let's say this was orbit 1. Now this is orbit 2. Again, we will do some maneuvers, like, we will change the direction because, like, it keeps on revolving orbit 3. So why we change the direction? So that it acquires a more, like, more centripetal orbit. Okay, more centripetal orbit. So, like, so we do the orbit raising maneuver so that, like, we can send it to very near to Moon, and after it reaches over here, we can, let's say, like, like boost the rocket so that it reaches the sphere of influence of Moon. Okay, so that once it reaches the sphere of influence of Moon, it will start revolving around Moon. Okay, that is known as orbit raising maneuver. Initially this was the orbit. Later on we have done some changing into the motor direction so that it acquires another orbit like this. Orbits are the paths that the satellite follow once they are into the space, right? Once they are, let's say, like, into the space. That's the thing. Okay, so I hope it is understood. Chirag, is that understood? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. So see you tomorrow. Once again, bye bye.